So you wanna go to war with me? You're talking like you think you're royalty. You think that I'm afraid, but I don't break. I heard you question my stability. You think I'll fall just like a guillotine, but I am here to stay. Won't look away. The storm is coming, so you better start running. No, you can't control, feel it in my bones. I'm coming for the, coming for the. I'm coming for the throne. I'm coming for the throne. So you wanna be my enemy? You should've known I'd never kiss the rain. Ice runs in my veins, won't play it safe. I don't belong with your nobility. Who died and made you king of anything? You think that I'm insane, it's your mistake. Kingdoms rise and fall, I've come to take it all. I'll take it, I've come to take it. Kingdoms rise and fall, I've come to take it all. I'll take it all. The storm is coming, so you better start running. No, you can't control, feel it in my bones. I'm coming for the, coming for the. I'm coming for the throne. I'm coming for the throne.
Let's go. Yo, I'm like an addict, do I gotta have it. I ain't even playing, got a really bad habit. If it moves, gotta grab it, fuse like a magnet. Lose, won't have it till I'm doomed in a casket. I ain't playing, got a weird mind. If you work 8 hours, I'ma work 9. If the shit tastes sour, you should taste mine. I'ma stay in power for a long time. Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer. Rising the song to the highest bidder. Got juice, got gas, I'ma move fast. New shoes, new tracks, like who's that? I'm new, come back, better than last. Yeah, it's a new me, never gonna look back. Never gonna look back. Cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast, and that's facts. Only I can make a change. Slowly take a step today. I will never be the same, cause that's what it takes.
Pushing till I fall, I'm slipping to give
I can make a change, slowly take a step today. I will never be the same, 'cause that's what it takes.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, happy Thursday, right? Thursday, August 1st. Welcome to the show. We're going to get some of our guests in here real quick. Hang on 1 second. Let me get the chat up on the screen and some of our gentlemen in here. Mazzalorian, where you at, buddy? I sent you a dang text and phone call and email invite. Where you at, Mass? He said he was on vacation. He told me last week he was going on vacation, but maybe he'll show up tonight. Maybe we'll have a surprise guest. Let's see. Let's bring in. Corex, how you doing, buddy? I was going to say amigo, buddy.
Good.
Came out bitty.
Well,
Bitty,
doing
bitty
pretty
bum.
all right because I've been Team TLT, and today was the great day to be Team TLT because everything else took a beating. Whew.
Yeah, rough day in the market. Let's get Mediocre in. I know he's been fussing at me about this week too. Let's run his. Monkey Tamer, what's up, Mediocre?
What's up, boys? How we doing tonight?
No, my,
Hey, we're doing all right. Got a bunch of fucking shills out there on social media, Mediocre. What are we gonna do with these guys? A bunch of fucking liars out there. I tell you what. I tell you what.
They wouldn't have a channel if they weren't if they were anything else.
If their lips are moving, they're lying, Corax. I tell you what. But I guess lying pays. It gets the views, like you said. I put out an educational video.
Videos a day.
Cheers.
So
Cheers, everyone.
Cheers, everybody. I put out an educational video, almost damn guaranteed to help you not lose money, and it'll get 20 views. And then they put up some trash about me and get 2,000. Lies pays. But you know what? The lies also has a way of coming back. And what's that word where it bites you in the ass at some point? Karma.
Yeah.
I hear that karma collects, Corex.
Oh my goodness. Drew dipshit. We love him here on the channel.
How's your
He's such a slimy little fucking
portfolios doing,
greaseball.
Tony?
How's our portfolios doing?
Yeah.
We're going to talk about those in a second. I want to get a disclosure out of the way because I've seen a lot of people lying and talking trash. And let me just say receipts are being kept for all of that. So keep it up. But because I put this in every video, it's in my video descriptions, it's on my YouTube community tab, Twitter. Nobody fucking pays me, you dummies. You dummies that keep on saying this. Not AMC, not debt holders. I don't own bonds. It's just my opinion because I read filings and I read financials. And if you don't like it, don't watch. But guess who's not down 99%? The people that read the filings and understood what was going to happen in the court case in AMC. And we're going to get to AMC because I want to do a movie review on Trap, which I saw tonight. But I want to get this disclosure out of the way for the goofballs, because they are continuing to lie to people. And guys, you need to hold these idiots responsible for their lies. Not only have every play they've talked about for the last 4 years has gone into the toilet. No one cares. No one holds them responsible, but they are completely misrepresenting what I said, despite me making numerous public declarations, which I will go to court, the grave, a Bible, whatever you want. This is the fucking facts straight out of my mouth. Nobody fucking pays me. All right. So just stop, because you're making yourself look like you might need to up your meds. Have another drink. Go take a nap. Maybe your audience finds it entertaining. That's fine. But, you want someone to start trashing your rep? I can bring a lot of force to bear from bigger YouTubers who love making fun of conspiracy idiots. So keep it up. You'll get all the attention you want, and you probably won't like it. Anyways, I'm not saying that as a threat. Just stop. You got your theories. That's fine. I don't mess around in your little pig pen. I leave you alone.
These people don't stop when they get a cease and desist from Doug Sifu. So why would they stop now?
I don't mess around in your little pig pen. You want to have your theories, have your theories. But when you lie about me, it's going to eventually have some ramifications one way or another. All right. About the reverse split. I am not and did not advocate for a reverse split in a live stream this weekend. Let's be 100% clear. We went over this the next day even because people started lying about it right away. We were talking about GameStop. The lives are still up. Go watch it. It was a 2-hour educational live, and they took 19 seconds out of context. We were talking about GameStop, how we thought it might have trouble running to some massive number because they keep increasing the float. I think you guys have all been around like me. And I know I didn't just imagine this in some psychosis that only exists in my mind. I'm pretty sure if I Google or search Twitter, I can find tens of thousands of tweets of people pumping reverse splits because that's going to scare the shorts. Corex, have you seen that before?
Yeah, the whole idea that a smaller float magically makes things move.
Well, people think,
whatever. Yeah.
Some people think, I don't necessarily, I'm not saying that I agree, but some people think that a lower float due to the lower liquidity can cause a squeeze. That's fine. You can have that belief or not, but that's how we spent like 30 seconds talking about GME and AMC. I said, I think that GameStop is going to have trouble running as much because the float is larger. And then I said, in the future, at some point, it might be interesting to see in the future, at some point, what we're talking about, just for clarity, and people who watch my channel and are sane in the membrane know what we're talking about. When there is no risk of dilution, when the company's making money, I'm just asking the question, would you at that point want to collapse the float? Or are you okay with the float being 550 million or 700 million or $1 billion? It's really just a discussion. What do you guys think? I'm not pushing for anything. I don't even care. I don't care. And I have no idea what the company's going to do. I don't even own AMC stock right now. Why would I fucking care? I'm trying to get an entry. I keep on selling puts, but the price keeps running up and I can't get exercised on my shares. So I have not been successful in getting an entry to get back in after taking profits on that run up to $12. Go ahead, Mediocre.
I think that there's a misconception of what a reverse split actually is, right? They don't understand that reverse split doesn't really do anything, you know?
It does absolutely nothing. A reverse split, a forward split, mathematically do absolute hogwash. They don't do anything. If you can't do basic math, I get it. You might not understand that, but take a deep breath, go sit down with a pencil and paper and draw it out. But what does do something mediocre? Let's finish.
Well, before I go there, but so what a reverse split does do for the company, it allows them to have shares in case they need money, which is what the equity markets are for.
It could do that. It could do that. Or I have also seen some blue chip companies are like, we really don't like our stock trading down in the $6 range. It's not really representative of who we are. I'm not saying AMC, but
it's like a marketing tool. You
reverse split, they're like, we're going to do a 1 for 4 or a 1 for 10 to get us up into that $20, $30, $40 range, because that feels like more right for a company of our longevity in the world and the market. And that's their prerogative, but it doesn't do anything. They're not even doing it to raise money. They're just doing it to.
It used to have it used to have more of an important role before we had like fractional shares. You might want a lower price to get more investors, or a higher price to exclude certain investors that you thought were unsavory, or, there's different ways to do that. But now like it's kind of lost its purpose because, we have fractional shares now. It doesn't matter what price the stock is. I can get a portion of a whole share and have that in my brokerage account.
The problem is, and guys, if you think that I'm advocating a reverse split, I want to remind you, what did I do mediocre right when they announced that the reverse split and conversion was going to go through? What did I do with my shares?
We sold AMC and bought.
I sold them. So why would I be telling you I'm trying to get in the stock now and push for a reverse split? Like, use your brains. I didn't sell them because of the reverse split. That is meaningless. I sold them because the company said that they were going to dilute, and they needed to, or they would have gone into bankruptcy. They needed to raise capital.
Exactly.
Man, I don't need to hold through that, and neither do you. Everyone had their own choice to make. We talked about it for a year that they needed to raise capital. And then we got the decision from the judge, and I was like, all right, good. The company's going to survive, but I don't need to hold through this. I'll see y'all in a week or two. Stepped out.
All we're trying to say, though.
Stepped out, stepped back in.
Right. And all we're trying to say, though, about the reverse split is when you get the float maxed out to 550, what do you think the company is going to do?
Yeah, that's the next level of
especially if they can't get more shares authorized.
Yeah, I think, we got Mr. Tinfoil Hat up here. Hopefully that is clear to everybody that's watching this live or on replay. I don't care if they do a reverse split. I'm not advocating for one. I don't know if they'll do one. And I'm more worried about what is the future effect of dilution. And that takes us into where mediocre is going. And as I've told you guys, this entire year, watch the box office, watch the cash position, watch the cash burn. Because if they are losing money, you're going to have more dilution. That's why I've been in and out of the stock this year, because that's a delicate balance for the company. And we can still trade on the volatility, but I want to, if I'm going to be in for the long haul, I really want to know that most of the dilution's out of the way. So what mediocre is hinting at here is, what if, we don't know, but what if, worst case scenario, they were to have a couple of bad quarters in the next year and burn off.
I'm not even saying that, Tony. They could be profitable. They could be 100% profitable and not have to tap the equity markets in a nice way, which basically means.
Well, I thought you were saying that you're saying they could be profitable and still run us up to 550 million.
Oh, you're talking about the 100 million shares.
The risk of further dilution up to.
Yeah, I don't know when they're going to do that. I have no idea. My point is,
that's something we should all be aware of, like at least in the periphery of our brain, right? There's a cap of 550 million shares, and we're at what, 361 plus 92. That's like what, 453.
Exactly.
They got 100 million left, and that's it. And then there's going to be some decision made. If you don't realize that, that's not me advocating for anything. This is me having a hard talk with you about facts. You don't like facts, go back and, hang out with the guy in the trailer, or the guy walking on the beach.
If they're profitable, they won't never have to use those.
If they're profitable, hopefully they don't got to use that last 100 million. But do I worry about it in the very back of my brain? Absolutely. It's something you should be aware of. If that happens, if they have to issue another 100 million, either through debt for equity swaps or ATM, guess what conversation we're going to have with Adam Aaron? Corax, go ahead. You're the bad guy. What are the two options at that point?
I'm sorry, I was kind of reading the chat there. What were you?
Mediocre. What's the two options if they are forced due to cash burn to issue all 550 million shares?
A reverse split, or they're going to have to ask us to up the float to whatever.
And because the new Delaware law, they don't need all the shareholders 51%. They only need the majority of those voting.
This is not me, again, for the people, go clean the wax out of your ears. This is not me advocating anything. I'm just telling you, you better be aware of all of the potential outcomes if you want to play this smart. That's all.
Now, I personally think AMC is going to end up being profitable in the next 2 quarters and in 2025. That's my opinion of it, right? I think that the box office is coming back and it's going to be strong, and they're going to start having strong quarters, okay? So whatever, but the debt is still there. That's all I'm saying. The debt is still there. So maybe they get a deal where they do a debt for equity and they burn up that 100 million shares. I don't know. I don't know that's going to happen.
I don't know what's going to happen now, since apparently the first lien debt holders are throwing a hissy fit now because of the deal that was cut with the second lien ones. But it may be that they end up.
It out.
Well, that's what I'm saying is that they may work it out as, well, they give them the same deal. And so now you've got more possible convertible shares out there. And you never know. We don't know at this point.
Yeah, I say they'll work it out, but you're right. It could end up with like, here, you want to work it out? Would you like some shares? I'll gladly take some shares to not take you to court. That's what some of these lien holders might be saying. There are a couple of them that are not happy with the new debt deal, and we talked about this. Remember, Mediocre, last week we said the new debt deal is a framework, but it's not all tied up with a pretty red bow just yet.
Exactly.
Not everybody's on board just yet.
Yep. And they're still like we just said, they're still fussing over it. So like I was telling you, indeed, I think they'll work it out. It's just a question of what the deal is and if you guys are going to like it when it comes out.
The whole talk about reverse split was just talking about the future, what is possible, not that it was going to happen.
It's just, I don't know. There's a lot of people that don't have a firm grip of reality or very good comprehension skills that are making YouTube videos. And maybe they're genuinely just confused, or maybe they are purposely lying to you. I'm going to go with the second one because, like Donoghue George, I talked to him personally in DMs and told him that I did not say that, and he still has made like at least 3 videos about it. So this is a coordinated effort by these guys to try and trash talk people, lie directly in your face, despite numerous ways of me communicating that's not what I said. And the live's still up. You can go watch it yourself. And you want to tag the DOJ and Gary Gensler and say, I need to be investigated for mentioning the words reverse split. We can turn the tables on that real quick, brother.
Can we just say that I love how all these people tag the DOJ and the SEC and all these people as if they give a fuck. Like, The FBI
Well, I mean, those are the people that should be worried. The ones going on YouTube 10 times a day talking about unsubstantiated claims and facts, never once opening a financial statement or a filing. And it's funny, like they are the ones that actually should be worried about getting hauled in court, in my opinion.
Well, some of them may be getting hauled in front of court. I don't know if you were watching my live stream last night. Mr. Wade with his fake bomb threats.
I did see that. And I don't know why is he tagging the AMC and GameStop community?
I have no idea. That's a great question.
Is he really related to Houston Wade?
He is Houston Wade's brother.
And did he really work for MMAT or MMTLP?
Yes, he did.
Oh my gosh. This onion has layers.
Layers on layers.
All I do is trade fucking stocks. I'm just going to tell you.
I know, right?
Attention to the fucking
and just so you guys, if you don't know what we're talking about, this gentleman on social media was saying that shareholders of these companies should take alarm clocks and bricks and notes and wrap them up in brown paper and hide them around, I don't know, government agency offices around the country.
Yeah.
What the F are you talking about, bro? And quit tagging stocks that you're not even involved in. You want to keep your crazy over there in MMTLP and leave the rest of us alone.
What was his the best part was his clapback when he got in trouble for it and had to delete it was it's only a class 6 felony to send a fake bomb threat. It's like, oh, it's only a felony. It's only a felony, guys. It's only a felony.
Oh my God. I'm good. Y'all can keep your felonies. I don't want none.
I know, right? Keep your felonies to yourself.
I don't need none.
MS Avik says, why do you care what they are saying? I do. If they come in my channel and ask a question, I'll answer a question. If they're coming in just to insult or, did you really say this? That's fine. I'll have a conversation with you. You're a paid hedgie. You're pushing for reverse split. That's an instant permanent ban. But look, guys, you guys don't know. I deal with death threats. I got to worry about my wife's safety. I have all of this documented, and I am building cases on these people. Not only the ones that are making the death threats, but the ones that are inciting them with purposeful false information. This is all being documented, and I'm going to defend what I said so that, at least at some point, if someone is hurt, these people are all going to be held accountable. Just be honest with your material.
Tony, put up Mass Vic 12's comment, please. The first one, not the last one.
This one?
Starts with your name.
I'm trying to. The chat. Oh, here we go. That's the one that I was just responding to.
Oh, where you respond to it?
Yeah. I mean, if you had to deal with people making death threats and upping your security and notifying the authorities because people in your state even have made, correct, you've seen it, they're not even unveiled threats. They're direct threats.
Well, like I said on the last live stream, it wasn't just like Houston Wade's fake bomb threats. Apparently, a shareholder sent the CFO of a company death threats with pictures of a gun being held to his kids' heads, was contacting his family and everything like that, and he had to step down and resign, and the FBI is involved. So it's like it's some craziness.
It's all fun and games for these dummies to have their own little channel and their own little crazy conspiracy theories. I leave them alone for the most part. But when you start lying about my content for the purpose of spinning up these Looney Tunes, I'm going to take it seriously, and I will hold people accountable at some point. It's not a joke. And I've done nothing wrong in this play. Nobody's paid me. I just read the financial statements and it's unpopular. I get it. Deal with it.
Anyway.
I'm unpopular, Tony.
I think we're all unpopular in our own special way. We're unique little snowflakes.
Let's move on to happier topics now that I got that off my chest. I saw the movie with my wife tonight, Trap, with how do you say his name? M. Night
Shyamalan.
Shyamalan.
Did it have one of his standard twists, or was this kind of a little different?
I have this movie forecast at 50 million domestic. 50 million, which is kind of low. The movie's 1 hour and 45 minutes. You've probably seen the previews. The previews encapsulate about half the movie. So I'm not going to spoiler it for you. There's a lot more to the movie than just what you see. And it's weird to watch a movie and he sucks you in, the director sucks you in almost to rooting for the bad guy. Like, how's he going to get out of this? I mean, he's really an evil person. I mean, don't get me wrong. You don't really want him to go get scot-free, but you are kind of like intrigued. How the fuck is he going to get out of it?
Catch Me If You Can. You're like, how's he going to get away this time?
Yeah. But I think the movie could have been about 15, 20 minutes shorter. And my wife said, why is it PG-13? Well, there's no real cursing or bloodshed. It's just a psychological thriller. And I'm just going to say, go watch it. Let me know what you think. I'm going to hold firm at my 50 million box office projection. I was hoping it would be good enough that I could come here and tell you this is going to be $1 billion movie. 50, maybe 100 domestic. It's not a bad movie, but the hook was just not enough to do it for me. Is that
the guitar player from Strapping Young Lad? No, I play the bass. I have to look up that band now.
Baby UFO says, I'm trying to figure out what Keith Gill sees in GameStop. So I did a supply and demand video training for you guys a week ago. Go watch that. I mentioned GameStop, and I've done 3 or 4 shorts on my channel in the last 7-10 days on GameStop TA. We can put the chart up, but and I teased a couple weeks ago, and I forgot to get back with you guys and give you my answer if I thought Keith Gill was still in GameStop. For those of you that are here live, I don't think he's still in GameStop.
I don't think so either.
I don't think he's still in.
No.
But maybe I'll make that video. But here's the chart that I put up.
Tony, are you telling me he's not a buy and hold guy?
No, he's not a buy and hold.
How did he get all his money?
Trading, mediocre. Got his money trading.
Oh, shit.
Let's see. If I do tab, that one doesn't have the echo, right? Share screen, tab, Weeble. No, I got to do window. Let me try this. Hopefully we don't have echo. Here is our GameStop chart. In my shorts, if you've been watching them with my GameStop TA, let me just run through this real quick. We have this one demand zone that everybody was pinning their hopes on Keith Gill. We had a touch. We had a touch. We had another touch. None of these had violent exits out of the demand zone. You notice when you hit the supply zone and reject, boom, big red candle, boom, big red candle, big red candle. You don't see that coming up out of here. That means you got a weak supply zone. So I asked you guys a week ago, answer this question at the end of the video. I said, what do you think I see here? This was foreshadowing a week ago where we're at today. What I see is a weak demand zone that was likely going to end up with the price coming down here. Now, the market tanking hasn't helped, right?
And it went down and touched that second supply zone and then kind of retreated from going into it.
Yeah, and I'm thinking like it might be a 2-week process to get deep down in here. But maybe we bounce off of here, and that'd be cool with me. I don't care what it does. I'm just looking for a good entry, Corex. I don't care.
I think you might get it, because my whole thing is like we had FOMC Wednesday, and and people were generally bullish because there may be cuts come September. But my thought was you fade that news, because if the Fed's saying cut rates, that means the economy is weakening, and that means equities will in turn eventually course correct.
You're saying you think I might get a good entry down here at a lower price?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the thing is, guys, my general thesis is, and this is not popular one, but it just is what it is. The current price range of GameStop is overvalued relative to their current financials until they report more earnings than a couple pennies. It's just not adequate to look at the
Especially
PE
on a
ratio.
yearly basis.
The price to earnings ratio is all you need to know. I mean, I don't know why it's showing negative right now, but it was like over 2,000, the forward PE
Probably
ratio.
because they've done the forward. Yeah.
Even if it's 267, the trailing, that's 10 times higher than it should be. Mm-hmm. So by any objectionable, that's not the right word.
Objective, maybe.
Yes, by any objective analysis of the financials, until they report earnings, maybe, in the next quarterly earnings, we'll get an update, and then we can all up our realistic targets. But having $4 billion in cash doesn't impress anybody except a YouTuber that covers GameStop. It is meaningless to Wall Street. So the people with money are going to push the price down. That is just unfortunate. Shorting, naked shorting, whatever you want to call it, doesn't matter. They're the ones with money that have the ability to move the price, and they are comfortable that it is overvalued. And I don't disagree with them. I just want to, when they decide that they've pushed it down enough, that's where I want to get in, like that $10 price we had a few months ago.
Looking at a EV to earnings that's really outsized, and of course you got like a price to book that's probably 3 times book. That just doesn't make sense for how much it's earning.
Yeah, I mean, price to book value should not even be a discussion. Correct. Book value of GameStop, no one should be bringing it up, because no one's analyzing price to book on GameStop. They have no earnings, really. Right. So I'm
just looking at all of it together.
Only reason that book value is interesting is if the company was liquidated, what's it worth? 10, 11 bucks. All of the valuation of the price is not going to come from book value. It's going to come from any measurement of return, ROE, ROA, ROIC, PE. Mm-hmm. And notice that no one in the GameStop community wants to talk about that, because those are unfortunate but realistic metrics that they can't make a case around of why $30 is a great price.
And speaking of that, you got a return on equity and return on invested capital. It's roughly about the same. It's 0.5%.
They're at the bottom of the barrel. If you go pull up specialty retail, they're not even the top, probably 25. You got people making ROE of 20, 40, 50, 80% in their industry, and they're making 1%.
I mean, you look about now, it's a more high-end one. Like here's another specialty retail, like Signet Jewelers, that does jewelry, with a PE of 4.75 with a return on equity of 7.5.
Yeah.
And a price to book of 1.3.
None of this is negging on GameStop. I mean, they have the potential to change all of this, but we need to see earnings. Earnings is, if you're an investor in GameStop or a swing trader like I am, your best bet is to pray that they have actual earnings. If it comes in negative again in this quarter that's finishing up, it's not going to go well. Ryan or Larry or Keith Gill, someone needs to come up with some news, because the financials are a bit of a mess right now. $4 billion of cash sitting there doesn't do anything for anybody.
Not just like news, but like give us a game plan. What are you doing? You've been silent for a year now? Surely you got something. Anything would be news to investors' ears at this point, or Wall Street.
Yeah.
wanting to know what's going on.
I have this zone down here. I see Matt says he'll play GameStop when it hits 19. I have this zone highlighted in green between 1760 and 18. I mean, it's still not a risk-free zone, but in this zone between 1760 and 2150, you got some high volume. You can see where it rallied on a high volume here. And there's probably some other Roaring Kitty news here also, but that's where I would feel better now that we're testing down here in here. I'd feel better buying here. I did try and trade it, just so you guys don't think I'm a total shill. I tried to trade it at the bottom of this zone, and I said in my Discord, and I said on my videos too, I got a hard stop loss that I'm not going to negotiate on right outside the bottom of this zone. If it falls out, I'm done. I'm not going to watch it melt down to 18, 17 bucks.
Right.
And hold it from 22. So I was in for a day and I was out, and I'll just be patient. I'm not opposed to paying this price if it has momentum, but everything mediocre. Do you see anything redeeming here? It looks like it still wants to go down.
And it's really not redeeming when you look at, like, you know, a rally and, like, say something like TLT. Things are getting really risk off. People are wanting to, if the Fed plans to cut in September, really you got your last chance to, if they do cut in September, I want to make that clear. If they do, you got your last chance to get these bonds at these high rates. And so you're going to see people reach in for free yield from the government before it goes away. So I think these next 2 months, you're going to see equities have a hard time moving to the upside because people are going to be reaching for yield.
Wedmore, I'm going to read this because it's kind of funny, but I know where you're going. He says, if Ryan did make a good investment in something, Mullen, for example, I know he's kidding with the Mullen example, but if they did make an investment, absolutely, you would potentially see the analysts change their price targets for GameStop. And pick a number. I can run the model for you. You guys know I have a spreadsheet model for GameStop, even more intricate than my AMC one. Pick a earnings number for the next 12 months. I can tell you what they will evaluate or value GameStop's price at. But it's not going to be much higher than where it's at now. If the best thing they can do right now while they're figuring out what they want to do with the money is just park it in treasuries, I think. What do you think, Corex?
Yeah.
The worst thing they can do is just let it sit in cash.
Yeah.
Because they can bump up their quarterly earnings if they invest it, and they should invest it in something safe. That's the responsible thing as an executive to do. What do they end up deciding to do? I don't know. They don't talk to me. But that's how they change the game. Invest the money in anything that generates return or the promise of a return that Wall Street can bite their teeth into and believe in. You'll see the upgrades on the price. Absolutely.
I mean, I don't know what to say about GameStop because they don't tell you anything. They don't talk to their shareholders. They don't give you any information.
And somehow the GameStop people want to say that is a positive. It's not viewed as a positive by the people that are shorting it. And that's your problem. You can think it's a positive, and you spend all day on live streams telling people you're buying at 30. It's not a positive.
Yeah. I threw a screen share at you, Tony. I don't know if you want to grab it. It's the yield curve. And what I want to look at with that, let me see if I can make it bigger here for you. I like when you look at this and you look at how the curve is starting to sag because we got the potential of future rate cuts. You see the long end starting to try and come up a little bit, but like even now the 3-month is inverted, which means it's getting close to the front end of the curve is inverted. And that's not usually a good sign of things.
Yeah, I might need to do a video on that. Did you talk about that on your channel yet?
No, I haven't. I just now noticed that the 3-month had started to invert, because that's the thing I was looking for next. Because last time I looked, the 6-month was inverted, but the 3-month wasn't. I didn't realize it'd gotten that far up the curve.
All I know
Really
is,
interesting.
my speculative play money, I have mostly in cash, because speculative plays, AMC, GameStop, if the market tanks, they're going to get crushed.
Yeah.
That's just because they're not money making companies. They're going to move the money into bonds or something else out of equities. But like what I was going to say is my blue chip plays even are getting dragged down. Like I had some good till canceled buys that got triggered today, because some of my stocks, my 5-year plays, have been getting wrecked. And that's fine. I mean, I'm in some of these companies 4 or 5 years. I don't care if the market goes down for a few months. I've already made the decision to buy them because they're not going bankrupt. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Mediocre.
Yeah.
If the market tanks, everything's going to get wrecked. But there are certain companies which will rebound faster because they're not derelict companies.
I mean, but I've been kind of trying to help my father, rearrange some of his stuff. You know what I mean? Because of all that. So
Matt says, "Is there any news on Hawaii Electric?" I still see that it's hanging out around 1670. I'm not really interested in playing it around this point, and I haven't been watching the news on it.
Yeah, I've been meaning to try and keep an eye on that, but I have been pretty derelict on HE. I have to.
There's
I've been
only
focused on other things.
There's only so many hours I have in the day, and my trade on HE was getting in down there when it was really, really cheap, and
$7.
yeah, selling into some run up, and so I already did that. Now I gotta wait and see some news, or see the price go back down.
Yeah,
There was a filing. Thank you, Matt. Not Matt. Who asked? Someone asked if we could talk about AMC filing today.
Their AMC quick filing.
There was a 13G filed today by Discover. I forget the name. I have it up here. Let me pull it down. Discovery Capital Management. Let me just pull this filing down here. And we'll talk about it real quick. These guys are part of the new bond deal, Discovery Capital Management. So let me make this a little bigger. And what I noticed, I haven't gone through and tried to sort all this out yet, because I just found out about it about an hour ago. But okay, so Discovery Capital Management, in the 424 filed last week, it said shares owned prior to this offering 38 million. And now they just filed a 13G saying they have 24 million. So as I'm looking at that, this is Discovery, right? Yeah. That would tell me, because last week we had a filing, they owned 38 million. Now we get one today saying that they own 24. I mean, I need to spend a little more time looking at this, but that would tell me that they have dumped 14 million shares in the last week.
Mm-hmm.
What do y'all think?
Interesting, Tony.
Interesting, because we're seeing the price just get kind of pushed down, mediocre.
Yeah, because we talked about a cap on AMC because of the shares that they're going to have.
Yeah. I think if they got some of those long-term bonds, mediocre, with an option to convert, that they don't really need to hold 38 million shares.
Yeah.
Like,
I will say, despite this price pressure, the fact that it's still hanging around $5 surprised me. I mean, it may come back down below and stay below, but I've been continually surprised by, like, I'm still not in a position where I think I would buy AMC, but I'm surprised by how resilient it's been around that $5 range.
here's the let me put the AMC chart up. So much like GameStop,
I'm not too worried about it, Tony. It's only 10 million. You know what I mean?
yeah. What's the volume been in the last week? Oh shit.
This past week, it looks like a volume of
Daily volume 14 million, 14 million, 14 million, 14 million. So much like GameStop, I have this supply zone where, you know, either traders or shorts are willing to sell shares. And you can see we just keep on knocking up against it. We knocked up against it today too on this wick. And I know everybody's getting excited. I just, you know, I'm not going to get excited until I see a breakthrough this zone.
Yeah, and you've seen it where, like, if you go to the hourly, every day it has this rally, and then it comes back down, and then it'll try rallying again, and it comes back down, and then.
But like Korak said, it is a testament to AMC, you know, in their future. I think the box office, that it's holding up in this zone pretty good. Other than that, you know, we had that one big bar down on like the whatever day that was, 23rd, 24th, that immediately got corrected. I mean, I'd prefer to buy down in one of those green supply zones, but I don't know. People ask me in the Discord, do you think it's going to get down there? I don't know.
Yeah.
If it does, that's where I think it's a safer buy, but I don't know. I'm not adverse to buying it up in here, but as we talked about over the last week, I wanted to get some of the dilution news out. I wanted to get some of the long-term debt deal ironed out, and we're still seeing a little bit of dissent, like Korak's mentioned, from some of the bondholders aren't happy with it. So I think I'm just I was talking to Mediocre about this earlier today. I think I'm gonna wait and see what they say at the earnings call tomorrow.
So Tony,
go ahead.
I did end up grabbing a bunch of shares before 8 o'clock this evening.
Oh, nice. So yeah, it did have a dip at the end of the day. We were talking about it, what, midday?
Yeah, but I think I get a chance to get back up to 5:30 at least tomorrow.
So Mediocre's buying large amounts and trying to flip it. I'm not really as interested in doing that because I'm not trying to day trade AMC for a 15, 20, 30 cent move. I'm trying to buy it really cheap and then be in it for multi-dollar moves. So we have different plans and different strategies.
I'm curious because I'm always looking for second opinions on trades I'm in. What do you think about Kirk right now, KIRK? Because recently it was trading down at around the like 160, 170 range. It got back up to 180, kind of faded that a little bit today. And like I said, I've just been collecting a little bit because I'm expecting a buyout. So it's like that big spike is when that private equity firm came in and said that, hey, we're thinking that this is a $7 and a sell off. I think that's a bit bullish. I would take $4 personally. That'd be a double up for me, but it seems like it's kind of.
Are they having financial problems? Is that why they're?
Yeah, they're currently right now. They're kind of doing they're having the problems that a lot of retail chains are right now, where like they're just mostly bleeding out except for Q4, and so they've done a lot better. I think with their transition, getting more of a digital presence, but right now their problem is with the way the economy is right now, they're having a hard time keeping afloat. Like last quarter reported they lost money. like, I'm not saying it's like a super strong company. The only reason I'm in it is I think someone's going to buy it and take it private at a premium to where it's setting right now, at least a double up, because that's usually what you get with some of these buy ups on some of these cheap companies. They take it private. And I think if the economy recovers, then yeah, this company is going to do a lot better, because if you look at the numbers around the reopening, they were doing bangers. And I think that's where it could get to, but you're going to have to sit around and wait and probably get the shit kicked out of you, which is another reason why it's like the only reason I'm in it is I think there's a buyout potentially on the table at maybe the $4 range.
When's their next earnings?
That's a great question. I don't think it's been announced
Looks
yet.
like the last one was in June, so we got a little bit of wait.
July, and I think it'll probably be another loss, to be fair. So I that might knock it back down. There may be a better buying opportunity, but my personal opinion has been anything under $2 is probably a good place. And
are they online
like
only?
I'm not,
Are they online?
No, they have actual physical brick and mortar outlets. I've been to one in Kansas City, so
I'm not familiar. I don't know if we have them here in Texas.
They're like a home decor place. And that's what's really eating them up, is like it's a very discretionary spending outlet. And so if the economy's doing bad, then your sales are going to get kind of kicked in the dick.
Yeah. As you might know, I'm not a huge fan of brick and mortar companies that have inventory for the reasons you just laid out. But I mean, if someone sees some future potential in it and you can get it cheap and get a premium on a buyout, I mean, that would be interesting.
I mean, that's basically my strategy as of late is looking at companies that may be undervalued, that have a buyout potential. They're small to medium cap companies where we're at the bottom of the business cycle. You've got companies that possibly are looking towards the future, but they don't want to build out this sort of retail structure. So they're looking for something that's already there that they can integrate into their company at a cheap price. And so I'm looking at M&A opportunities. So that way, when the Fed does make these rate cuts, you can get a loan at a cheap interest rate, buy a company that's kind of struggling, turn it around, and then, maybe reintroduce it to the market, get your profit there, or maybe it starts making money again, make your money there back. And that's kind of the things that I've been targeting, these companies that are gotten the shit kicked out of them, but they're still fundamentally, they've like, when you look at like GameStop, which has been struggling even before COVID, was struggling after COVID. This company was making money before COVID.
Yeah.
COVID fucked it up. It came out of COVID and it was making money again, but then the economy turned south and now it's struggling again. So I think it's a much better opportunity structurally, but you also have to have the patience. You got to understand that it's still a struggling company and you probably should not allocate a large part of your portfolio to it.
Yeah.
And if the buyout comes off the table, that potential, then I can't really recommend it.
It seems like kind of like a HE type play. Like you're gambling a lot, but maybe a decent return if you get what you're hoping for. And maybe
well, a lot of people on my Discord, they like to say it's like, I like to gamble on educated risk on things
that's how we were in HE. Like I knew that I could get wiped to zero, but I didn't feel like they were going to get all of the blame, and we had a reasonable chance of a decent run up.
And like here, you've got some downside protection that if it does get bought out, it'll usually be at a reasonable price, and you'll at least make money on that if it happens.
Wired says Matt says AMC's holding up better than GameStop, and Wired says because we're hanging in this range, I think is what he's saying, because AMC is fundamentally worth more than $5. I think Wired, if I run the numbers out a year from now and assume that we have break even or profitable quarters going forward, yes, there's zero doubt in my mind that this is I got to watch what I say, because people are trying to crucify me for talking numbers, but you can do a PE ratio analysis at, say, let's just say, pick a number, a dollar, $1,
40 cents year over year, Tony.
Well, 40 cent
It's like 22.5 cents a quarter. Or no,
That'd be
12,
80 cents.
yeah, 12.5 cents a quarter.
It's just easier for me to do the math on a dollar mediocre,
Yeah.
but I mean, 80 cents would give you a $16 price.
And
with
it
a
helps
reasonable PE ratio of 20.
And it helps that unlike GameStop, AMC has a CEO that's actually talking about the plan for the company, what they're trying to do, what the struggles are, what they think the upside is, everything about the company like a CEO should be doing. And GameStop, you're just getting radio silence.
And everybody in the industry is saying that the next 2 years are going to be better than this year. So you have reasonable expectations of increasing revenues. I mean,
yeah,
all it's going to take is enough box office for AMC to start chalking up some profitable EPS quarters. You get enough of those and enough people believing that, oh yeah, the box office really is going to be 10 and a half, 11, 12 billion dollars. You're going to see the price of all of these movie companies respond positively, including AMC, because the debt is not going to matter. Everybody has debt on Wall Street. Can you service the debt? Can you operate profitably and service your debt? Then you get some upgrades on your price. And I think it's easy to make a case for a $16 to $20 price. Just doing a PE ratio on 80 cents annual or $1 annual. But you got to answer the question for yourself. Do you think the box office can get to the point where AMC can make 25 cents a quarter? That's what you got to do.
And,
I've already run the numbers. I'm not going to talk about them on YouTube because people just piss me off with all their negativity and blame shifting.
And like, it also depends on each person individually. Like if you still want to play, like you think that the market for theaters is going to be good, you could take a Cinemark or an IMAX that has a little bit better organized company. AMC, I think you explained it best. It's like a leveraged play because they've got a lot more theaters, but they also have a higher debt load. So you're
going to get a bigger return on AMC if the box office gets to the point where they can be profitable. That I have little doubt on, but you have a lot more risk right now. Yeah. So I own IMAX. I own IMAX also CoreX at $14.99. So I'm pretty happy with that as offsetting some of the risk I have on AMC, and it seems like a no-brainer play buying it down in that range.
Good get. It's at 21.18.
Tony, you see Baby UFOs coming?
Baby UFO.
Yeah.
Some YouTubers are saying a broader market crash could cause AMC run up. They're saying that it could cause a GameStop run up too.
They say that a lot, but
then when GameStop's crashing, they say that it's crashing because they need it to. I'm like, make up your damn mind.
They'll change their narrative whichever way they want to make it sound.
They make no sense, and those of us that keep track of what people are saying know that they change their story.
At the chart today. What did the SPY do today? What did the market do today?
Everything that was in equity pretty much dumped today. I don't want to say every stock, but like the market ate shit.
I'm just going to say I've been very consistent in what I've said. If the market crashes, everything, including every stock you love, is going to go down.
Yeah.
Exactly. AMC and GameStop included. There's not going to be any exceptions if the market has a rout.
That's why I have an outsized TLT position. Team TLT. I really think that, and you got to be careful what end of the curve. Like earlier, we were showing the yield curve, and right now the 10 and 5 years at the bottom of that valley. So people who are reaching for yield have really pushed down the yield on that like 5-10 year yield. If you're reaching for yield as a protection for your portfolio, like the 2 and 1 year on the short end and the 30 on the long end, I think is more where you'd want to, if you're going to take some treasury exposure.
Seasoned Curly says, I'm cautiously optimistic. I like that phrase. I'm cautiously optimistic. I think mediocre. Everybody in our Discord is optimistic about it. But just like you, we are cautiously optimistic. We're not unabashedly optimistic because we're not profitable yet. So show me the money.
Well,
Show
I
me
think
the
you
money.
should be like that with any stock you hold, cautiously optimistic. You're bullish, but you need to be fully aware of the dangers. It's what good DD is. You take the good and the bad and you weigh it against each other and you make a decision.
Yep. Young Kong says, will short interest slow now for AMC since we're doing well, or will they keep shorting? That is a excellent question. And I almost tweeted on it this morning and then I deleted it.
Probably for the best. Giving your haters.
I said, they're not ready. Tony, they're not ready for this.
They're not ready.
Don't do it.
Oh, God.
Do you really want the answer? Let me go refill my fucking beer.
Let me see if I can find something here, because
shit.
I'll have a point to that if I can find what I'm looking for here.
All right. Here's the deal. Cinemark still has high short interest.
Yeah.
Can someone check right now what their short interest is? IMAX has almost
interest
none.
for AMC is currently showing at about, what is it showing?
60 million shares, so like 14%.
Yeah, about a 19%.
So here's the deal.
No.
Yes, the short interest is going to go up.
Is it 19 already?
19, and the borrow fee is up a lot higher than it has been. AMC's borrow fee has been around like the 2 to 3% range. It's at 4% flat, which,
Really?
like, just to explain why I look at that, when I've explained it on Tony's show, on the show here before, that a lot of these companies, because rates are still high, there's people who are shorting certain companies that they think are bad but have a low short cost to borrow, because you can game the system and take the spread there of, sure, the cost to borrow is like 2%, but you just park it as cash and you get the overnight rate at like 4 or 5%. So you've made 2% yield profit there. So, but if the Fed's cutting rates and it's setting at 4%, maybe some of these people are like, well, the game isn't so free anymore. But that's a possibility. I'm just going to throw that out there.
I'm going to throw this out there, and it's going to be confusing, and I can't even explain it 100% to you. But people that are smarter than me have tried to explain to me. Maybe we'll do a Discord only or a members only live stream this weekend and bring on an expert to try and explain it, because you guys know I'm not a bond guy. Even though everybody thinks that they think the bondholders are paying.
You're the bond king, Tony. AMC bond king.
The reason I care about the bonds, guys, is because the prices of the bonds will tell you what the market thinks about AMC's bankruptcy risk. And I posted, Mediocre, did you see that? The new bonds are trading at 125, 126 bucks. That's a healthy premium to par value, which would be 100.
Yeah.
That bonds don't trade at a premium if there's bankruptcy risk. You guys remember when AMC was at the worst, a bond that you're going to get paid $100 for was trading it for 30 bucks. That means no one wanted them. So the price of the bonds got decimated. They were thinking $30 is better than zero if they go into Chapter 11. So when bond prices go down, as a stock investor, you should know what the bonds are doing, because that's kind of like the other half of the market giving you a signal about risk. That's why I pay attention to it, and I'm trying to talk about it with you guys, not because I don't own bonds, not a bond trader. Nobody's paying me to talk about bonds. But as stock traders, and especially those of us that want to be cautiously optimistic, you should pay attention to the bonds. That's your canary in the coal mine, your early warning signal. When the bonds start tanking, you might be too optimistic.
Yeah. And it's the same way for the general economy when you're looking at treasury yields. If you've got low, if you've got like a high face value on the bonds, that means that people are wanting to buy the bonds. They're reaching for yield. They want to be risk off. They want to be out of equities because they think the economy is going to be bad. And if you see low treasury face value on the bonds, it's because there's too many of them in the market. People would rather be in equities. And so you got to sell those bonds cheaper to get a buyer.
What we're seeing on the AMC bonds right now is not risk of bankruptcy. The bond market is not telling us that they're negative on AMC. They're pretty bullish on it. But what I was going to say, why is the short interest likely to go up? Because there is some of these people that bought these bonds, Mudrick, Pentwater, Discovery, other holders of the bonds. There is we're going to get back into this ARB thing, Corex. These guys have convertible bonds. It's like free shares. There is some arbitrage opportunity.
Does it convert at a flat rate, or does it convert at the recent trading price or whatever?
I mean, it can convert at the recent trading price, but the people that originally bought them, their effective convert price where they break even is $5.66. So I think there's some ceiling for the stock above $6 where you could see some of them converting to shares and dumping the shares. But in the meantime, they can.
We're treating it even like a warrant where they get they may execute to get the shares because they see future upside in the price or whatever.
And here's the most simplest way my dumb brain can explain it. Mm-hmm. They can short almost risk-free if they're worried about any downside because they know they have delivery of shares if they need them. Mm-hmm. I know that's not the greatest explanation, and I'm sorry if I need to bring someone in like Sparky who can explain it better. He's bless his heart, he's tried. I don't want to derail tonight's conversation, Sparky. Maybe we'll just do one live stream for members only of anybody who's interested in hearing this talk. But don't be surprised if short interest goes up. It doesn't mean that people are necessarily negative on the stock.
They're just hedging their position.
They're hedging or they're looking to make money through some ARB play. Mm-hmm. So don't let it get you down in the dumps, I guess. That's what I was going to tweet. Yes, you could see the short interest go up. No, you should not see that necessarily as a negative. Sparky, is that a fair way to say it? If I could dumb it down to my level, if you see short interest go up, it's not necessarily a sign that people are negative on the stock.
I see he's ribbing you in the comment section.
Sparky says they have shares on a spike. He's like, can we go back talking about how you want a reverse split? I can laugh about it now, Sparky. I already got all my anger out in the first 15 minutes. These dumbasses, man. Tell you what. If you're just joining in and you want to see me put some trailer park heads on a spike, just go back to the beginning of this live stream. All right. What else? What else y'all got? Mediocre, give us your thoughts on this play. I know all right. Let me just preface this by tomorrow we have Cinemark earnings in the morning. AMC uncharacteristically made their earnings Friday too. Corex, do you think that Gary Gensler told them, they must have their earnings on the same day?
No.
Yeah. What? Jeffrey Epstein?
Well, you'd have to be alive unless he's like communicating from the grave.
There's going to be a merger announcement. Can we find something in a filing to make a video on? No, they both have their earnings tomorrow. All I was going to say, all jokes aside, is I will be live streaming Cinemark in the morning and AMC at the market close. So join in with me. We're going to hear what the CEOs have to say and how the earnings are for both of these. I think that Cinemark might book a slight loss, and we know that AMC is going to book a slight loss also. But I really want to hear their guidance for the next year.
Yeah.
Think we could get a move up on Cinemark's?
I don't know. Cinemark has some convertible bonds too. And the way that I read their filings, they take the price for the convert on the last month of a calendar quarter. It's kind of complicated if I read it correctly. And so there might be some converts after September if the price is high enough. And therefore, I'm not really that interested in playing Cinemark. It could push up when they get into some profitable quarters, but you got to, just like AMC has the potential future dilution, Cinemark has that too. And so I think you have a much better, if you're going to gamble on a movie stock, I think the potential return on AMC, if you can survive the debt and future dilution, the future return on AMC is better. Yeah. And then the safe play in the bunch is IMAX.
I know previously when I was on here, we talked a little bit about Tesla. It took a bit of a oof on earnings and then pushed back to their robo-taxi date to October 10th, I think it was. There's been a lot of concerns about their full self-driving and stuff like that. And I think the Wall Street Journal, I believe, dropped a 11-minute expose. They had gotten a bunch of the Tesla computers from some of these wrecked cars and sent them to a hacker, and they got data on I think 222 crashes, and the data that they got from that was that the cameras were not properly identifying objects because they were not being trained as well as they should have been on objects that are rare occurrences, but that still needs to be trained on, like an overturned car or things like that. It was failing to recognize it, and some of the cameras are not being properly calibrated in the Teslas.
By the way, I don't know what a KT is, Teja, but since you mentioned the 13Gs, I went up and refreshed my screen, and we have another one, guys.
Oh.
What is a KT? Is that a killer time?
Maybe.
We got another 13G from our friends. Let me get the right screen up here. Here we go. Mudrick. Dun dun dun.
Oh boy. Better be careful what you say now, Tony.
I know. We're on dangerous ground here. Mudrick just reported owning 17.6 million shares. And I'm looking up here on my top monitor. At a week ago, they reported 31 million shares.
So they cut in half.
Yeah, that's another big dump of shares. So when Pentwater is now what? Pentwater had 59 million shares a week ago. Are we going to get a 13G from them? But
maybe
Discovery,
tomorrow. I don't know.
Discovery cut their shares in half. Mudrick cut their shares in half. You want to know why the price keeps getting smacked mediocre?
Yeah.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Sparky, if you're still here, any idea? I mean, why these guys are part of the bond deal? Why did they own a bunch of shares prior to the offering? What does this say? Footnote 3. This column includes shares issuable to each selling stockholder upon conversion. Are they already converting?
I wouldn't think they'd be able to until the deal's finalized. And
no, that deal is finalized, but
okay,
they'd be converting at a loss. Did we miss something? Knowledge transfer, Teja. Thank you. I mean,
unless they just want to get, I don't know.
The conversion rate is 176 shares per $1,000 of principal. and we did the math on $414 million, and it includes it in the filing. The effective price is $5.66 a share.
They probably have shares from the 85 million bond swaps.
Sparky says they probably have shares from the bond swaps. And so, yeah, that's what we kind of alluded to earlier when we were talking about Discovery. Like, they probably already had some shares, and now they got the bonds and more potential shares, and they're just lightening up their exposure.
Exposure, maybe, yeah.
I mean, that would make sense if you're looking for a logical answer. I'm sure the the clown channels will come up with their own ideas. Sparky says it's not the converts. I can't see in any logical capitalistic world that it would be the converts, because they'd be losing money on them at any price in the last week. Doesn't make sense.
And I mean, it hasn't gone to the upside. When were those bond swaps, Tony? That was last month, right?
Last quarter.
Last quarter. Okay. So, I mean, they've gotten most of the upside. They should see it's got support here at 5. They figure if it's got support here at 5, they can just start unloading those if they don't want to hold that exposure.
I need to pull those bond swap filings back up and see what effective price they got at them. Got those shares at. That's some good homework for me tonight or in the morning.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if they got them at $4, or $4.60 or $4.70, and it's trading at $5.30.
Yeah, and depending on where they sold it at, you probably got maybe a little bit better price discovery on it. Like the peak over this period of this like last week or two so has been $5.44. Except for like that one really long wick on that candle on the 23rd.
That is why I think that this supply zone is kind of telling us anywhere in here, they're willing to sell.
It's just going to get beat down by those
they're willing
swaps.
to sell shares. So just be patient. I know it sucks, but I mean, they got the shares. They're willing to sell them. It's going to suppress the price until they're done. And then whether that takes days, weeks, or months, if the box office keeps improving, then at some point, as long as Adam Aaron doesn't dilute us anymore, then maybe this thing can start moving up. But I can't tell you the timing on that. My general sense is there is a ceiling in place for the time being, which is why I'm not trying to rush in and buy call options up here or anything.
Hey, don't go calling me out.
I feel personally attacked.
You guys do what you want to do, but I think if you got shares, the smarter thing to do is sell call options. My opinion, not financial advice. And if you're wanting shares, pick a price down here and sell some puts, and maybe you'll get lucky. I've been doing that for weeks. I saw some people, Mediocre, saying that I'm a dummy because I'm selling puts. I guess they're allergic to making money, Mediocre.
I've seen that. I don't know what to say to these people.
I'm not negative on the stock, which is why I'm selling puts. You guys do whatever the fuck you want. I want to get back in at a price that I like, which is how I'm picking my strike price. And if it ever were to close below my strike, I'd happily buy the shares. But unfortunately, all I do, Mediocre, is I keep collecting the money and no shares.
Yeah, I know.
It's really irritating making money like that.
It was driving me crazy too. I won't lie. Like I want to hold the shares. So, but I bought some shares tonight that I plan on selling tomorrow because, you know what I'm expecting anyways. But I think we close around $5 tomorrow. Just what I think. So I expect a run up tomorrow and a pullback at the end of the day.
Zach says y'all have been stuck in the same rut for years. Move forward. I'm not sure what you mean, Zach. No one on my channel's stuck in a rut. I mean, I was buying AMC down below $3 and sold it on a run up to 12. If that's a rut, give me more ruts, my friend.
Yeah, we're okay with what's going on. It just I'd rather own the shares and just make money on calls rather than make the money on the put side.
Keep in mind, like, all right, mediocre buys bigger positions than I do. I'm mostly a blue chip guy, and the speculative plays are a small portion of my portfolio, and all of my meme stock money is in cash right now. I'm just, whether it's GameStop or AMC or what, the flavor of the week, I'm waiting for one of them to give me a good entry, and none of them are there for me right now. But the reason we talk about it is because there's so many people putting out bad information.
Oh shit!
I'd prefer just to make educational videos and tell you guys about value stocks that you're likely to make safely 20, 40, 50% on over the next year. But when I make those, 20 people watch them. So
Matt, that's pretty funny.
I don't know what to say.
That's funny.
Never take trading advice from a donut baker. Oh man, I don't know. They say, yeah, I think you should not take trading advice from anybody, but you should focus on channels that are at least willing to talk about the financial statements. If they won't even talk about the financial statements, walk you through a valuation model, why are you listening to them? You're basically putting your money in a cup and rolling the dice that naked shorts, trillions of them, are true. How's that worked out over the last 3 years?
Not a single time.
Right, not a single time. But they want to get mad at me. They're really mad at themselves, and it's like trying to project it on me for teaching you guys reasonable.
Tony, are you down 90%?
A lot.
You down 90+%, Tony?
Like I've said this a lot. Like these people who get caught in these conspiracy theories are people who ended up bag holders who want to find an excuse to pawn their responsibility for their own investment decisions off of, and we happen to be the targets.
Tony, you think I'm a bag holder? They can't take
responsibility for their actions. So
I don't think you're a bag holder, mediocre, because I know up until this afternoon you weren't even holding any shares. So how can you be holding bags?
Unless they're bags of cash.
Look, I think there's a lot of opportunity in these stocks for people that are patient, have some ability to take on risk, and get a good entry. I've been doing that for 2 years with GameStop, and only for the last, what are we at in August? 8 months for AMC. It took me a while to give up on AMC, but we knew that when the reverse split conversion happened, AMC was telling us for a long time they needed to raise money, and we saw the clock ticking on that 2026 debt. It was no
secret. The writing was on the wall.
It was no secret they were going to massively dilute. And a lot of people, the tweets are still out there. I'm going to hold anyways. Okay. It doesn't really matter what I say.
We had massive meetings. We tried to inform a lot of people, Tony. I don't feel bad anymore. Like I used to feel bad for all these people. I wanted to help them, and you seen what we did. They didn't want to listen. What do you want?
Yeah.
I'm here to make money. What you guys do with your money and how you feel about the stock is your business. I'm here to make money.
Anya says HE went to 18 in after hours. Let's see if there was any news, and then I'm going to get to your wife's boyfriend. News.
18 in after hours. I'm showing 1677.
Yeah, I'm showing 1677 also. Your wife's boyfriend says the buy and hold and short squeeze AMC movement is on pause. I mean, that might be a nice way to say it. I don't mind holding the stock. I held it. When were we buying earlier this year, mediocre? Like from January till March?
Oh, when we was in the $3 range? Yeah,
We were buying and holding then, but then I got really concerned about an upcoming dilution. So I sold it the day before they diluted in March and waited a few days and bought back in. Buy and hold. I've said you just got to have your head on a swivel and not be, what's the word? You can't be
emotionally attached.
not emotionally attached. You can't, I mean, that too, but you can't avoid the facts that the company's telling you that they need to fix the balance sheet.
Yeah.
So understand what that means. That they don't hate you. They're not trying to help the shorts. They're trying to avoid Chapter 11, which is what you want if you are a buy and holder. But I'd love to buy and hold, but I don't want to hold through dilution. Reverse splits, forward splits, I don't care. Dilution, I don't want to hold through. Is it good for the company? Absolutely. It's necessary, required for the company. I will keep saying that. It was required. Doesn't mean you need to hold through it.
Tony, why does a company IPO?
To raise money from us. Why do they stay in the secondary market? To continue to raise money from us.
Exactly.
If needed. It's your job to understand if it's needed or not. If you don't want to be subjected to dilution, stop buying companies that have negative earnings. Like, come on, guys. We've built up a great community here of people, regulars on this channel, the Discord, that understand this now, but there's still some people clinging on to this. Every stock I want to buy is a money losing company. You're going to keep dealing with dilution and reverse splits because your portfolio is entirely made up of money losing companies. That's not a great strategy. You want to gamble, pick the best one. Like at least AMC has rising income revenue. Pick the best one and then be smart about your entry and be willing to sell if situation dictates. And then you can jump back in if you love it. I spend an obscene amount of money supporting this company and you guys going to movies. Go to movies. Revenue matters. It's not, AMC's not on its deathbed. They're just, they're not even on life support anymore. They're about to get up and start walking with a walker, I think, mediocre.
Yeah, we're getting real close.
We got to get that box office up a little bit more. Let's see what Brian has to say. Tony, I have no position on AMC or GameStop, but I've been watching you for 4 years. You can pivot from AMC and GameStop. I have a ton of. Is that permission to pivot? I mean, I announced my pivot on GameStop about 2 years ago when they did the forward split, just because it was a great opportunity to take profits. And I mean, I had been in it for a while and I was like, they're not really showing me any turning around of the company. All I'm seeing is revenue decline. So still a volatile play. There's a great chance to make money on GameStop, but you got to be willing to be nimble. And so almost every quarter I get in somewhere near the bottom and sell right before earnings and then just rinse and repeat. They're not awful companies, but you got to unplug from the conspiracy stuff. And maybe the conspiracies will all be proven correctly. And you know what's beautiful about that, mediocre? If they start running one day when we're up at 5 a.m. watching them.
We just buy in and we take the momentum, baby. Let's go.
We just buy in. I'm up every day at 5 a.m. I just buy.
Cash is ready, baby.
I like my beauty sleep, so I prefer companies that I don't need to be up at 5 a.m. to know what the fuck's going on.
I check in the mornings and then I go lay back down. I don't, if there's nothing going on for me, I'm not, depending on what I'm looking at. I don't trade stuff I really don't look at. If I don't know nothing about it, I really don't want to put my money into it. That's one of
Well, for sure, that's the way it should be every time, all the time.
Hey, Corax, is this Zach one of your guys?
No, I don't think so.
No, he's on my channel. Zach,
Yeah.
welcome. I think you stepped into the wrong channel. This is not a buy and hold channel. Neither is my audience for the most part, except for a few that are desperately hanging on to old
I buy
beliefs.
and hold, but I don't buy and hold speculative companies. There's the difference. It's like good companies.
I don't know why he's calling us pump and dump clowns, Tony. We just got done telling people that there's shares above head here.
Because if you put a ticker symbol in your title, mediocre, people make assumptions because they're not very, they don't come around often. So I'll give him a minute, but keep asking your questions, Zach. We're the only channel covering AMC that goes through the financial statements. Stock retail does too. I'll give him
fundamentals
that.
on DJT. They don't exist.
Yeah, DJT is a news and momentum play only. There are no positive fundamentals on DJT. You're going to get diluted, but that doesn't mean don't play it. Just know what you're playing with.
Yeah, I know that the warrants are going to completely wreck you.
Yeah,
if you're in the regulars.
I have nothing against DJT. I'll call it for what it is. It's a momentum trade, and you better know what the fuck you're doing. Do not listen to anybody on social media. Just read the chart, ride the momentum, hope you catch a good news cycle. That's all I can say.
What chart is that you're just looking at?
DJT.
Jesus.
Yeah, it got wrecked all the way down from 79 to 27. I mean, we made a fuck ton of money when this thing IPO'd. Remember these days, mediocre?
Ugh.
I remember.
Woo! I was in and out of that one 3 times in the first day. Just nonstop green, baby.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the chart, like just from the 18th on, it's just been a nice vertical line down on DJT.
Yeah.
I don't mean nice for anyone holding it.
Yeah, there'll be, I mean, you got a little bit of support maybe down here around 25, but I mean, there's no fundamental reason I can tell you that it has any support. I mean, it's probably a $10 or $12 stock, but people are willing to pay more. So
yeah, last quarter they reported $770,000 in earnings.
It was positive?
Revenue. That's my bad. No, they lost 300 and some million. My bad.
Yeah, they're going to lose money for a long time. So just know that and play it smart. I mean, look at all this beautiful volatility. That's a swing trader's dream, but you got to get in at the lows. And you got to be lucky on your news. I'm not trading it, but I don't hate it. I wish I would have been in here at $14. Right here, 20.
I wish I had held on to those warrants I had at about the price range it is right now. I sold them when they got up into like the 18, 19 range for a quick profit because like I didn't know when they were going to approve it so you could, exercise the warrants, and then it did its run thing and I'm sitting here going, but I made money, so I can't hate myself too much.
Wilner says DJT is a one-man show company. Yeah, I mean it trades a lot on Trumpy news, and I got no problem with that. Just know. Corax, have you noticed that our little Porky friend over on Twitter is trying to weasel his way into the DJT community now?
Porky friend. Yeah, there's a lot of them doing that.
The short killer dude.
Oh, all of them ever since DJT's had this run have been getting on that. All your favorite hucksters on Twitter, everybody.
That's fine. I mean, I have no problem with them. The people that listen to those guys don't like me anyways. I just let them do their thing.
They make
all I'm going to do is
fodder.
look at the financials, look at the chart, find a good
Pull
cross my
up
fingers.
Intel, Tony. And Brian's comment.
All right, Intel.
Let me see how bad this is. I might have to be up early tomorrow.
Intel, yeah, cut dividends.
Oh, shit.
Really bad earnings.
I bought some Intel today at $29.80. It crashed after hours. This was not an active buy. This was like a order I've had sitting out there for 2 months. It crashed after hours mediocre to 23.56. And luckily, as I talked in the Discord and the VIP this morning, I had a good till cancel buy at 29.80, which filled this morning, but it was only a small amount of shares because in my Discord in the VIP room, I've been talking about my Intel thesis. It's a 5-year play for me.
Yeah.
And there's, as I said in the Discord, there's plenty of room for downside from here also.
Yeah,
pull up AMD real quick.
Hang on. I just want to show this chart. I mean, 23, you can see it bottomed out after hours at this support level, 23.54. That's another good place for me to buy some more shares. So I got a little bit at 30, got a little bit more at 29.80, but this is me just dipping my toe in the water on a 5-year play. And I've tried to explain, you have plenty of time to be patient with Intel. Don't rush in and blow your whole wad on Intel at
That's
30
why
bucks.
I haven't gotten into it yet. I'm interested to see with Intel. It's one of the ones I'm looking at, but I am not in any hurry to get a position. Like I said, I'm short-term bearish. I'm long-term bullish. Intel has been running the processor space for a long time, and them and AMD have switched horses plenty of times. So you just got to wait until Intel's back swinging.
Yeah, I think in 5 years,
bad news.
I think in 5 years they have a chance of being back in everybody's good graces. So I want to intelligently, patiently accumulate shares, and since I still see, even at 30 bucks, a lot of downside risk, I'm dipping my toe in very gingerly. And if it's at 23 and a half tomorrow, I'll buy some more. And if it drops to 22 or 14, great. I never go all in on a chart like this, especially when you got all this nonsense down here. This is where people really want to buy it. Yeah. So what was the news? What was the news here?
They had some bad earnings. They're laying off 15% of their workforce, and they're ending their dividend.
That's not good. Layoffs. But I mean, sometimes the market reacts favorably to layoffs too, because it cuts your costs. So I need to go in and read this earnings call over the weekend, read the earnings report and listen to the call. But I mean, might be a good overreaction. 23 bucks.
How did AMD respond to it?
AMD, I own some AMD also. I own some AMD also, and I am in the green on it, but let's see how it did after hours. Down.
Oh, it's actually down. It started out ticking up, but yeah, it ended up going down.
Let's see. What am I in AMD at? I can't read it. 155. Is that my only buy? Let me get rid of this chart. I thought I was in the green on AMD. Maybe I'm not. It's hard to keep up with them all. Let's turn this off. Or maybe we can 140 bear with me. I bought some on May 8th at 155. I remember looking at it this morning. What does that make me down? About 9%? I remember looking at it and I was like, should I sell my AMD because I'm down 8 or 9%, or am I long-term bullish over the next 5 years? And I kind of made the same decision as Intel. I'm long-term over the next 5 years bullish on it. So I'm not trying to sell it. I'm trying to add to my position as it goes down. So
Tony, have you had any thoughts on Qualcomm?
I haven't looked at Qualcomm. No. I have the next fib level on, and you can see when I draw this retracement, I like to buy somewhere starting around this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th bar, 6th bar, even better at the very bottom of a retracement. So I'm not going in heavy when we're up here, but the further it drops, the more shares I will add. You never know where it's going to bottom out. We already broke through this one, so 123 wouldn't surprise me, and it wouldn't hurt my feelings either, because I'm not laying out enough cash that I'm going to lose any sleep. These are, like I said, long-term plays. I didn't know if it was going to. I think I was playing this kind of consolidation right here in May, and we had a little bit of run up, and then the market just started dumping.
Yeah. You've seen that with all the semiconductors. They've just been generally following the market, and it's been to the downside.
Yeah, I'm not worried about it over the next 5 or 10 years. And if it keeps dropping, that's fine with me.
The only reason
these companies are not going bankrupt.
Yeah, for sure. The only reason I bring up Qualcomm is I'm still waiting to see what effect it has on their earnings, but they recently got into the laptop space. They're making they're making ARM-based laptops that run Windows on ARM, which is interesting, I think. And if that ends up being a good market sector, I think that could really help out Qualcomm.
Brian said they need to fire their CEO, Intel, and what else did he say?
Know.
They cut their dividend and really bad earnings. Well, I guess, it's time. I've been putting off for a while doing an Intel and AMD video. It might be time now that Intel released their earnings to get those videos done this weekend.
I might send you some videos, Tony, on some of the stuff I've been looking at Intel, where the big problem with Intel right now is not just, like their transition, but they've been having some problem with their chips failing recently. And that's just kind of hurt their stock. And it, like you said, short term, it's really rough for Intel. But like you said, I agree with you on like the 5-year window. In 5 years, I think Intel is going to be fine. It's just they're having to compete with AMD. They're doing a lot of new things with how they're doing their chips with the P and E cores and all the different things there. And it's a rough time. I don't think you need to fire the CEO. I mean, the CEO is the type of CEO that I'd want in a company like Intel. I mean, they worked on the now I've lost my train of thought on that, but they worked on the actual side of designing these chips and things like that. I think someone who intrinsically understands the business from the ground up is someone you'd want as a CEO. That's just my personal opinion on it. I could be wrong.
I used to trade it a lot back in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Back then, it looks like it was between $1.81 and $48.
Yeah.
And now we're at 132. I mean, I think by the time I died, no matter what price I get in, I'm probably going to be okay. Unless you think computers are going to be replaced by something.
I don't think computers are going to be replaced. I just think that you're going to see on the server side, on the side for like people like me that are gamers, you're going to still see the enthusiast community building their own PCs. You're going to see servers being built, and you're probably going to be seeing a lot more of that directed towards NVIDIA and AMD until Intel can turn things around. But on the consumer side, I think you're going to see a lot more ARM-based chips, a lot more like Apple does, system on a chip, where everything is on one chip. It's energy efficient. It does what people want. It's, you know, like your cell phone is a system on a chip for the most part. And so I think you're going to see a lot more of a, on the consumer based side, a lot less of these like computers that are customizable, and a lot more of them being ARM based.
The reason I haven't made the AMD and Intel videos yet, even though I've been telling folks in the Discord that I'm just starting a long-term position and you got downside risk, yada, yada, yada. Because why put out videos if I know there's downside risk? You know, I'd rather put out a video and I'm like, okay, now's the time to go in.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So, but maybe it's time to just start having some talks about where they're headed. Carl says trading is the best job you'll have if done correctly and with common sense. I agree. Baby UFO says the odds of Adam Aaron announcing dividends a fraction of 1%. I agree with you. I'd be mad if he announced a dividend. It'd be a horrible use of cash. Don't placate the retail traders that think that there's going to be some short squeeze because of a dividend. That's nonsense.
They're just going to pay the dividend, move on.
Right. There's not going to be any short squeeze because of a dividend. It's wasting cash. You're selling shares to raise money because you need cash. Please don't waste it on a fucking dividend. Pay off the debt.
Yeah, so we did go with the filing there, Kersey.
I agree with you, UFO. I mean, could he surprise me? Sure. Would I be happy about it? Probably not.
No.
Scott the Builder, good evening to you in Australia. Put another shrimp on the barbie, Scott.
Now I feel like I'm working at Outback Steakhouse again.
Is Brian talking about Adam Aaron or the Intel CEO? He's lied to us for the last year.
Are
you talking about Intel?
I don't think he's lied. It's just the company. They've had struggles. They tried to get into GPUs. It's not worked out well. They've tried to change how they do their processors. It's been mixed results. It's just they're in the middle of a transition and they're really struggling. And I don't know what else to say.
I will listen to the earnings call, Brian. And just so you know, as I said, I was taking very small baby toe steps into starting to buy some Intel and AMD. I haven't gone through earnings calls, haven't gone through 10Qs. My buys were only based on the chart, which is another reason why I'm not willing to buy a bunch of them over the past couple months. Because for me to really do my DD, I need to spend hours listening to earnings calls and going through the financials. So I will do that this weekend, probably on both AMD and Intel both. Magnetic resonance. What's up? We talked about the 13 Gs, Discovery Capital and Mudrick both appear to have sold some of their shares. So not surprising. And if they're going to sell them all, just get it over with, baby. Get it over with so we can move on. We have put up several times tonight the supply zone up here. God dang it. I wish there was an easy way to zoom in on this. You can tell, I mean, I drew this some time ago. You can tell as it's running up, they're selling and it's just smacking the price down. So that's why I'm not rushing to buy in this zone between $4.50 and $5.50. I'm not in a hurry to buy it. Let these guys get the fuck out of the play. If they want to sell their shares, sell them, move on, make me feel comfortable, and then I can buy some. Or I got to see some sustained upward momentum. Mediocre, you're back. What do you think?
About
Whatever.
AMC? That we were looking at?
Do you want to answer this gentleman's question? Is that a Korean name?
Yes, it did. Yes, it included the popcorn sales and the credit card profits as usual. They're always added in to their earnings. Just because it doesn't have its own line as a line
it's
item.
up to the company if they want to break out a specific line entry or not.
Yeah, it's in there.
And I agree. There is no secret books. There's no hidden revenue. The numbers are just so small, or they're not making a profit yet. Because you know how when you start up a new business, sometimes you have some startup costs.
Excuse me, I want to go take care of something here real quick.
They're just not breaking the numbers out yet for us, and that's okay. It's not a conspiracy like some of these guys want to tell you. Either for competitive reasons they don't want to divulge it, or they're just not worth bragging about yet. But they are definitely in there. That it would be illegal not to put them in there. Option trader. Okay, that's the translation of your name, I take it.
Oh yeah, we've talked to him before, Tony.
Yeah.
I think he's over in he's overseas, Tony, I think. We had this conversation with him before.
Yeah. We got someone in another channel.
That's from me over on Twitch. There's a lot of Twitch spam bots.
All right. Can I block him from Restream?
Yeah, go right ahead. I blocked him already on Twitch, so you just take care of the legwork on your end for your stuff.
I can permanently block him from, even if he shows up in your chat, he won't show up on Restream.
Nice.
All right, he's blocked. No, we're not interested in your promoting our channel. I don't know what the fuck What, mediocre?
I can't see the chat no more.
Yeah, I can't
put
either.
It back up. It was one of those, hello, sir, I noticed your channel's not quite getting the engagement that it should. Would you like to make more money?
Oh, I read that. I just ignored it.
He says, TA-wise, when all the stocks are going down, does AMC seem to hold 515 line pretty strong? I mean, AMC is surprisingly holding well in this zone, even with the market melting down. Wouldn't you say? Corax, you hate AMC.
Yeah.
Wouldn't even you admit that AMC is holding up pretty well despite the market melting down?
Yeah, I was surprised. I figured that as you know, GameStop started to fade, it would fade too. But like,
isn't it obvious to you then that they're hedging all their GameStop shorts in AMC? I mean, what other conclusion could you draw?
Absolutely, it sounds like a great thing. My forehead agrees with that.
Is this Robert Citrone? This is not the same guy, right? This is not Citrone, the Citrone hedge fund. That was Andrew Left.
Yep.
Robert Citrone or Citrone. I don't know if he's Italian. If he is, paisan. That is Discovery.
Paisan.
That is Discovery. What's it called? I got the filing up here. Son of a... Anyways, it's not Andrew Left. Discovery Capital Management. And I think there was actually an article that got posted in the news. Not very many of y'all saw it. I was going to put it in one of my videos. I was like, I don't know if they'll care about this, but Discovery Capital Management said we're very confident about AMC's future. We're happy to buy these bonds. And so, yeah, they're a big shareholder and a big bondholder. But since they bought the bonds, I think they're dumping off some of the shares. That's what I think. But not the Citrone is not Citron hedge fund, just so we're clear. Is he a Tiger Cub? Is he? I don't know the dude's name. I'm not familiar with it, but now you give me something to go check into. I was not even really aware of this Discovery Capital Management and the other one. What was that other company? Mudrick, obviously. We all know that name, but Pentwater Capital Management, not familiar with them really either. They have 59 million shares. Are we going to get a 13G from them tomorrow? Are they dumping too? Anyways, let them get the fuck out. I don't care. Just hurry up and do it so I can start making some money in this play again. Yeah, I wish I knew option trader. I wish I knew every Tiger Cub and hedge fund manager's name out there by heart, but I really don't. I don't obsess over them like some channels do. Just because, look, we're not going to get rid of them. The ones that are doing the illegal shit, like Andrew Left. Hey, Corex, are you still here? Maybe you can jump in on this. Maybe you can jump in on this when I'm done trashing Andrew Left, because you might have a different opinion. But the ones that are doing the illegal shit should go to jail.
Yeah, I agree.
But the rest, I mean, they're just doing their thing, and I just gotta understand their thing, and I gotta understand how they're viewing my play because they got more money than I do, and I don't want to be, I don't want to be losing money because they're bringing full force to bear. So I don't obsess over these guys. I don't love them. I'm not a big fan of shorts in general. But what do you think, Corex? Should Andrew Left go to jail? Should he be fined?
I mean, based on what we know right now, obviously he still has his opportunity to respond to the claims made by both the DOJ and the SEC. But based on the claims that I read, we talked about them on my live stream Saturday. We talked about some of the updated stuff, some of the responses people did on Wednesday. But looking at the claims, at the very least, I think he's going to get the Martha Stewart treatment and go to prison for lying to a government official. But a lot of these, it's like, it's not that you made a tweet on Twitter promoting a stock, and it's not that, your opinion changed. It's like the way it looked like, at least in the complaints, was that he would make a tweet, and within hours or at most days, he was out of position in trading. Yeah. Like, that's a pump and dump in my eyes.
But the boys in Houston got off for the same thing. That's where I'm confused.
Well, it's on appeal right now to the Fifth Circuit, so we'll hear back on that. I think September is the deadline for the Atlas Trading boys to respond to the appeal. I have a feeling that will get overturned and remanded.
Yeah, but mediocre. They went to court and the case was dismissed, and it's on appeal.
State of claim.
But I mean, that's set some precedent.
Left. He hasn't been to court yet, has he?
No.
Left has not been to court, but
he has showed up and made bond.
Correct. The thing that bothers me, look, we all get excited about stocks, and sometimes, look, when we were talking about AMC and GameStop in 2021, we were hoping for a short squeeze, and we weren't talking about the financials because we were hoping on a short squeeze. And it's okay to be excited about that. But at some point, when a short squeeze doesn't happen and the company's telling you they're going to need to raise money, you need to start paying attention to the financials. So we had to pivot.
Threat of bankruptcy, Tony. That's
yes, why. I know it was a serious threat of bankruptcy. I mean, they were very clear on it. So we had to pivot the discussion. Where I was going with that, though, is it's okay for Andrew Left or the boys in Houston or myself or Mediocre or even Corex, anybody, to be excited about a play, a momentum trade, a short squeeze play. But when you're saying, I'm going to send this out to drive the price up and sell it a second later, that is some unethical, immoral bullshit.
Or saying that you don't take money from hedge funds and not
that is even worse.
Disclosing it.
He portrayed himself as a hedge fund when he was his only client. That's lying. And then saying he wasn't taking money to
I was an independent researcher and then
push positions. That was lying. If you're taking money, you need to fucking disclose it or go to jail. Hard stop in my book, which is why I don't take money on this channel. And if I did, I understand that there are rules that I need to disclose it. I'm not stupid enough to take money and not disclose it like Andrew Left or Trey.
Yeah, and the whole structure of that is we read an article Wednesday that explained it, is that there's a lot of these short reporters that they have what's called, I can't remember what the technical term it is, but it's something like a balance sheet partner, where it's a two-part system. One person holds the capital, the other one does the report. And then when the short report comes out and the whole price movement happens and everything, whatever the legal trading period they need to hold for, they'll sell. They'll give them a cut of the profits. And the person doing the report even was a short seller and said it exists in a legal gray area. It's because you have some of these balance sheet people that are off. They're not in the United States, so they're not responsible to the SEC or American laws. And so now it's kind of shady, kind of shifty. And
hey, Andrew Left, hang them high. That's what I say. Hang them high. Make an example out of these people. Now, I don't think he's going to give up any names. I see all these people. Oh, he's going to give up names. And what's the phrase? The walls are closing in. That's what I was looking for. The walls. There's no walls closing in. He's not going to give up any names. The hedge fund he was involved with, one of them already got identified and fined.
Yep. And this is all stemming back to a report, like an investigation that the SEC started back in 2022. So all these people are complaining, like, what's the SEC doing? What's the SEC doing? Well, they're doing stuff. Just hold your fucking horses. They'll get to it.
Yeah, I think we're seeing some progression. Like, they're almost up to 2021. Maybe in a couple of years, we'll find out what they're doing about all the fuckheads that fucked everybody over in GameStop and AMC.
And I think that there's quite a lot of the people, like even in the short community, were kind of shocked by this, because like I remember Panda Research's post was, we just got done giving the SEC one of our whistleblower complaints, because that's another thing that people forget. Sometimes these short reporters, they make their money giving the SEC complaints and getting the whistleblower money rather than actually directly shorting the stock. And they were like, well, we just gave this report to the SEC. Apparently, Andrew Left has a different philosophy when it comes to trading and markets. And so like these bad actors, like, everyone wants them gone. Everybody wants them gone.
I even saw
market that works.
Several shorts, and I don't know if they're being genuine or just trying to cover their ass, but they're shorts on Twitter saying no responsible short does what this guy's doing.
Yes.
Now, I don't believe any of them. Of course they're going to say that. I don't believe any of them, but I mean, if you're a law abiding one and you don't want to go to jail, you don't do that shit.
At least I at least trust the ones like, Muddy Waters or Panda Research, some of these people that have gone after these Chinese scam companies who have a reputation. Now, that being said, Andrew Left had a reputation of like his reports were genuinely accurate. The problem is he was using that reputation with the market to make skeezy fucking trades.
Yep.
So
hang them high. And I still think, for me, the jury's out on the boys in Houston too. Like, I think what they were doing was a little bit unethical.
That's why I said I think it's currently on appeal to the Fifth Circuit. I think that it will get overturned and remanded, and the motion to dismiss will be overturned, and they'll be back in front of a federal court.
We'll see. It's unfortunate, but a lot of the lot of the plays that people are stuck in right now is because of those Atlas trade folks.
And I hate the fact that after the dismissal came down, that everyone was hailing these guys as heroes. They tried to fuck you. What the hell?
Who appealed it, though?
Correct.
Who appealed okay, they were found, it got dismissed, right?
Correct. So the government, the DOJ appealed to the Fifth Circuit.
Isn't that what do they call that? Double
no, because they had civil case and a criminal case, mediocre.
Well, it's not double jeopardy because
I'm not
it's
sticking
the
up for
same
nobody.
case. You can appeal certain instances of the case. It's not double jeopardy.
The DOJ was the one that got dismissed, and the DOJ appealed. Is that correct?
Correct. And it's, the reason it's not double jeopardy is we didn't go to trial, number one, and number two, they're appealing the judge's decision. They're not like, say for instance, if this went to a jury trial and they tried to do something, then yeah, that'd be double jeopardy. But we're still at the pre-trial phase.
Audio plug. You're right. It is the greed gets them, and they think they're smarter than the system.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem with people and money is the more money you get, the more you're looking at, how do I beat this next guy? How do I get that yacht or a house in that country? And they're not ever satisfied with what they have. And
well, it's kind of that double-edged sword. How they got into such a position where they were so successful is because they weren't satisfied. But then it started becoming this thing where, like you said, greed. It's like, I can never be satisfied, so I'm just going to keep on going and going and going.
And eventually you do enough shit to expose yourself to the SEC and the DOJ.
That's why we don't really talk about our positions. Tony, you know that, right? We don't, but I mean, I disclosed something today, but I've also told people I plan on selling it tomorrow. I'm telling you what I'm going to do, but I don't usually tell people exactly what I'm doing.
That's why I don't give price targets or talk about crazy catalysts. Do I talk about speculative stocks? Yes. In 4 years, how many tweets and videos do you have of me giving a ridiculous price target? Nothing. You got overwhelming evidence of me rejecting all of that stuff.
And
because that's very dangerous to communicate to people.
Well, and just on a moral level, there's a reason why I've mostly stuck to like the legal stuff. Not only people enjoy listening to it, or stock market mechanics, or silly people on Twitter, because like even if I was playing it by the books, I'm very leery about giving recommendations, because even if I was confident in what I said and what I did and don't feel it was anything illegal or anything like that, it still sucks to know that you made a wrong estimation on the stock market or what a company was going to do, and it hurt someone else.
Yeah.
I make my dad make his own decisions. Don't I, Tony?
You what?
Make my
Siri's
dad
talking to me.
make his own decisions, right? Like,
yes.
I'm pretty harsh, you guys.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to tell you what to do. You got to tell me what you want.
Mm-hmm.
I can't do that. I kind of give people an idea what I'm thinking, but doesn't mean it's going to happen, right? I could be wrong.
I thought in the beginning when I came on YouTube Mediocre that a lot of people understood when Trey and Matt told people don't invest more money than you can afford to lose, that people actually listened to that, because I sure didn't invest more than I was willing to lose.
Mm-hmm.
That's the other thing, yeah.
But, come to find out a year later, we had people mortgage their home, sell all their 401k of diversified ETFs and move it into AMC or GameStop. I'm like, what happened to risk management? And before I ever came along, how did people lose?
People went crazy.
How did people lose their objectivity about? I mean, these were not profitable companies.
I think that they just believed in the dream. You know what I mean? And
it doesn't help that a lot of these communities created this sort of cult-like sentiment around it, where people found dedication to this group of people rather than
that's
their
fine.
own
Hey,
personal
we
interest.
lived that. Mediocre and I lived that with every single person for several years, Corex, but we weren't putting our life savings into it.
Right. What I'm saying is, for like some people, they don't know how to extract themselves from that, and so that kind of fed in on itself like a feedback loop.
The thing is there was so much misinformation out there. Still is, by the way, but
Yeah.
there was so much of it. In how do you people don't have a realistic expectation of what was actually happening, right? I mean, I held on, but I was always green. I never ended up really in the red, you know. But I had a great entry in the very beginning.
E-
So
Even
I
now,
held
like
it
when
all the way up and all the way back down. I did. I believed in the movement. Don't get me wrong. But at what point do you let yourself lose all your money? That's the problem I have.
and I mean, here we are, 2024. Almost all of these stocks are down significantly, and people
Some
still
of them are
don't.
bankrupt
They
and
still
gone.
don't want to watch educational videos, risk management videos, blue chip videos. No one wants to watch that. Like
I'm very risky and very
I
safe
don't
at
get
the
it.
same time.
What, mediocre?
I'm very risky and very safe at the same time. Because you know what I do. But
I know you take risky moves with more money than I would, but you also are willing to exit the play if it's not going your way. You know how to. That's a big problem. Like not knowing how to hit the sell button. You got to be willing to eject.
here's a perfect example. Was it this week or last week? I think it was this week. I don't remember. Tony will know what I'm talking about though. AMC was was busting out of the 530 range, and I'm like, if it busts out of that and heads up, I wanted to be a part of the move, so I wanted to get in early. But instead of buying shares, I bought call options. Okay, I'll tell everybody, flat out. So um, I think I bought 160 options. I think I don't remember exactly how many I bought, but somewhere around 160 call options, and it didn't move. It started to roll over. I immediately took a $250 loss, and I'm okay with that. It didn't do what I thought. I'm paying attention to the chart, and actually somebody in the Discord was like, "You just lost $250 in like not even 10 minutes." Yeah, I did, and I'm okay with that. You know what I mean? But I'm not going to hold a call. Number one, I'm not going to hold a call option very long, anyways. That's just how I play the game, right? But you have to be willing to exit if it doesn't go your way. You know what I mean? If what you thought was about to happen doesn't happen, you have to be able to walk away and
That's
walk
like
away.
my GameStop when I bought at the bottom of that demand zone one. I was like, I'm buying down here, but if it drops 50 cents, I'm out of this fucking play. And like most people would say 50 cents. That you're getting out because you're losing a few dollars. Not few dollars per share. We're talking few dollars. Yes, because I'm looking at the chart, and if it doesn't hold this level, it's going to get torpedoed. And so I already knew my sell point before I bought it, and I stuck to it.
I mean, that's the thing is you got to be. If either you're a trader or you're an investor. For me, I trade, so you know things happen. You don't win every single trade. I win a lot. I'm pretty profitable, but you don't win every single trade, and so you have to know when to cut your losses because your portfolio is how you're going to make money. If you lose all your money, you can't make money anymore. That people need to come to grips with that reality. That's part of the thing I think I see a lot of people have trouble with. I don't know.
I'm
You know,
ordering some food here, mediocre.
Yeah, that sounds like a good plan for me.
That's what I've been trying to do. I've been trying to get my kid to answer the phone. I'm like, I want a taco.
All right. It might be a good time to wrap it up. You guys got
Yeah.
any other questions in the chat?
If you are interested on seeing some of the shenanigans, I do have the Princess Mountain Stupid coming up Saturday. That should be fun.
Tell us what's been going on in Princess Amount Stupid World. What? Give us a recap in
Yes,
1
please.
minute of the
Well,
last couple.
to be fair, last Saturday we actually had some big ticket items. Like we took care of like the Andrew Left thing. That was right out the gate. We went over the entire complaint. Even the Tony Doppelganger, Tony Dong was in, and he's like, he's a professional writer on finance, and he's like, geez, this is like bad. And so like that kind of gives you an idea of that whole situation. We covered a few of the lawsuits. I didn't have a lot of time to go over some of those because we also dealt with I don't know how much you guys know about the recent situation with Mr. Beast. That was our other like big double header topic.
I know he had an employee that got in trouble with something, and now I saw apparently like people are fessing up that a lot of his videos are fake. Is that what you're talking about?
That was some of it. The biggest part that we really covered, though, was the fact that was brought up in the video by one of the former employees that he either negligently or on purpose was running illegal lotteries.
Yeah, that's the video I saw.
Yeah. And there was a couple other things in there that we covered. We covered Wednesday that apparently there was another one of his basically lotteries that was done in Australia where the results were all sorts of screwy. And then, of course, they've got the Las Vegas event that they're doing for Amazon right now where a lot of people were getting injured and things like that.
What do you think about MMTLP/BBYQ/GME YouTubers that have a once a week charity live stream? Do you think they're running an illegal?
I don't think they're running anything illegal. I think it's kind of skeezy where they're kind of doing some of the same things where Mr. Beat is, where it's like,
are they showing where their charity donations go?
Yeah, that's the problem I have.
Maybe he's the charity.
Yeah, that's.
I mean, it still technically is a charity, but does he say which charity is getting the money?
Are you saying grifter?
I mean,
what
that's
mediocre?
The grifter charity, is that what you're trying to say?
There's a certain YouTuber, I don't want to name any names.
I don't know anybody.
I don't watch his channel, but I see the live stream titles. It's charity night. All super chats go to my charity of choice. Me. Not. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just curious. I was curious. Corex's
and thoughts. It's not just that, but there's be careful who you're donating to on social media because there's a lot of scammy stuff that goes on, and you just have to be careful the same way you would about anything else. And just because someone is donating to charity, that doesn't excuse them for the other stuff that they've been doing. That is,
I think what they should do is like put up a QR code of a charity and let people scan it. And
some of these channels that are over 10,000 subs, what you can do is fuck the whole super chat thing. You can make an official charity directly.
That's right. You can you have the ability as a content creator to set up the live stream as a charity live stream, and YouTube will automatically route the money to the charity.
Yep.
So there you go. Why isn't this guy doing that, or is he? I have seen that. Correct. You're right. Content creators.
I was really mad because I wanted to do that for the Pulte interview, and I did the background on it, and they're like, "Nope, you have to have 10,000 subs." I'm like,
10,000 subs. Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I'll get there one day.
I won't. I can't even get 1,000 or something like that. How many subs do I got? I don't even remember. Hold on.
Are you over 1,000 yet, amigo?
No.
Can we get this guy to
get into the 1,000 club? You can do it. It's not too hard. It only took me a year.
Go, guys! If you're not subscriber to Mediocre Trader. We're about to wrap up. Promise me that when you are done watching this, you go to Mediocre Trader on YouTube and subscribe to him. I don't do this for just anybody because the last 8 people I did this to all are stabbing me in the back now. Right, Mediocre? The last 8 people I tried to promote all, gun them for me every day. Fuck those dudes. Hey, Mediocre is the only.
I'm not gunning for you, and you promoted me almost a year ago.
Well, I don't really promote you. You hate me, and you hate my stock. I bring you on here because you keep us honest. But and you can do it on my channel at least in an adult way. I mean, I know you like to curse on YouTube and on your channel and Twitter, and that's all fine.
Hey, it's your show, so I try and keep it to a minimum.
I appreciate that. And maybe it's good for people to see
information and putting out solid information. I don't want to talk about nonsense. It's not worth it to me. Yeah. I'd rather help somebody. That's all more what and Tony knows that. That's more what I'm about.
Mediocre and I like to look at charts. We like to look at filings. If you don't like that, I mean, we make a lot of money. If you don't like that, and you like just people telling you whatever sounds good that day that they made up and have no evidence of, there's a billion channels like that. And I just would say to you, how you doing following that strategy?
Or have to come hang out with us someday during the day.
Oh, maybe I'll get enough money at this YouTube thing. I'll be able to have more free time during the day.
Whenever you get your next check from Doug Correx, for sure. One day you'll reach the level where you don't have to go to a real job. He's got a real job. Well, Mediocre's got a real job too. I'm the only one old as dirt that I already did my fucking career.
You'll know when I've really made it. I'll move to New York and I'll have a front office right there at Virtu headquarters. A nice set.
My boss.
By the way, this is sarcasm, guys. There's going to be some people that didn't take their meds tonight. Correct. We got him. He confessed.
I'm sure they already got us when I had the joke with Amy about Virtu HR and calling them about my paycheck.
I've noticed that with a lot of this conspiracy theory people, there is a strong inability to detect sarcasm.
I don't think there's a strong disability. It's just that
I said inability.
Oh,
inability. Don't get me.
Willful
don't get me.
Inability.
You're going to have the disabled haters coming at me now. I didn't say disabled.
Tony, I just want to tell you, I don't give a fuck about my boss. He's an asshole. What the fuck is he going to do? Fire me? I ain't scared.
You are your boss, so fuck off. My boss sucks too, Mediocre. He's an asshole. They say he has no emotions. What were you saying, Corax, before Mediocre so rudely interrupted you?
No, I was just saying that they willfully are unable to detect sarcasm. Like, I'm sure in any other setting they would, but since they've got to fill their conspiracy void, they'll turn off the filter because it conforms better with their narratives.
GT, what's up? Option Trader says, have you guys ever tried sending your order on Lit Market during pre-market hour on AMC? I have my brokers set up to route to the Lit Exchange, yes. We're not talking Boss Blunt's Lit Exchange, but even if you're using Fidelity as an example, they will route it to a dark pool. You guys know that, right? You need to go into your settings.
I got a drop down on my Tony.
You got what?
Mine has a drop down. I just click it and pick where I want it to go.
All right. But what broker do you want to say?
Charles Schwab.
All right. So depending on your broker, you need to direct your trade to a Lit Exchange. If you don't tell Fidelity, it's going to be defaulted to auto, which means they get to decide, which means that if they're getting a kickback, a rebate, perfectly legal, from a payment for order flow, guess where your order is going? So you got to take ownership of that. But yeah, I have mine defaulted to avoid payment for order flow.
Just for the record, so everybody knows, I only trade on Thinkorswim. So in Thinkorswim, there's a drop-down menu. So if you go to the Charles Schwab website, I don't know anything about that.
Option Trader says, when volume is super low, do you actually see your block order on AMC? Usually what I do, Corex is going to laugh at this. I set it up in like really weird, not round lots. I set it up because I know there's people watching for these odd lot trades.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Just
it is fucking vibrating stock models.
With them, I'll put in really weird odd lots. And then wait for a video to be made later. Oh God, I was tracking the vibration of this odd lot. Oh, this burst basket. Look at this shit. That was just me, you motherfucker.
Oh my God.
Did you see he said he was going quiet for 5 to 7 days? Seems like he needs to find some new batteries for his vibrator.
He just does that to see. He just does that to see who's going to engage with him on Twitter.
Carl, I love it. I love it.
Imagine being 60 years old and that desperate for fucking attention on the internet.
An odd lot is less than 100 shares, just FYI.
Around any lot is around 100. So like you could have 2 lots, which would be 200.
Yeah, anything that's a multiple of 100. Like if you're an institutional or professional investor, you normally buying in rounded up numbers of 100, 200, 500, 1,000. But if you see an order of 1 or 5, that's probably retail traders. Sometimes, depending on how the orders are coming in, that the broker or the market maker will combine them. They'll take odd lots and we got 20, 40, 40. They'll combine them and send it as an order of 100. And maybe they have a little bit left over and that shows up as an odd lot. It's very confusing. It's not really my area of expertise, but I've read enough about it to know that someone making videos trying to explain it to people probably don't know what the F he's talking about, but maybe he does. Maybe he does.
It matters that much, Tony?
No, that's the whole point, is at the end of the day, it does not matter. Has it stopped us from making money, mediocre?
No. Doesn't stop me.
I focus my time on things that actually matter, like understanding, is this a good investment? How do the financials look? Do I like the management? What's the guidance for the next 12 months? What are analysts saying? What's the chart look like? How's the economy doing? Those are what I focus on. All this other nonsense is people grasping for excuses for why they're losing money. Would you disagree, Corex?
Nah, not one bit.
Was that all a fair summary?
It's
I should make that into a short video.
All this is confirmation bias and cognitive dissonance at work. They can't deal with the pain that they made a dumb decision, because they can't ever be wrong, right? Right, guys? You're never wrong, right? So obviously, since they can't be wrong, someone else had to have fucked them. Sorry.
Let's make Option Trader feel a little bit better before we leave. All right. I want to hit on a couple things here. AMC is very depressing. If you're stuck with a high cost basis, I feel you. It is depressing. I get it. Seems to be the only way to push the price up is buying deep in the money call for market maker to push the price by hedging options. I would say don't worry about pushing the price, because we're never going to bring enough money to bear as retail traders to push the price unless some massive catalyst happens where you're going to know, like the Roaring Kitty moment a couple months ago. And even then, a lot of people said, that's not retail. That's not retail doing that. You guys heard that, right? So I think that rather than worry about buying deep in the money calls or worry about pushing the price, is just worry about what is a smart entry. What's the most risk-free entry I can get? Dramatic pause.
Mm-hmm. Can he
this is a purposeful dramatic pause. Like, I want you all to think about what is the most risk-free entry you can get. Do you understand what the company's strategic objectives are. Do you understand the financial statements? Even if you get a risk-free entry on AMC, there is no risk-free on AMC right now. It's still a money-losing company. But we're about, hopefully, what was the word we used earlier? Cautiously optimistic that things can change. We're cautiously optimistic, but we're not exuberant. Help me out, correct? I'm exuberantly optimistic. Yeah. We're not overly exuberant. We're not overly excited. We're realistic. I think there's a great chance for AMC to, if the box office grows, to have outsized gains compared to like a Cinemark, which is a boring play. But you got to be realistic. Like the shorts are going to keep pressure on it until they can show profitable quarters. So just play it smart.
Yeah. Seems like a good place to, a great point to.
And I'm not worried about what the market makers are doing.
So he must be buying deep in the money calls.
We call that the, what do we call it, mediocre? The poor man's covered call?
If he's buying deep in the money calls, like leap
Oh
options.
no, selling them is poor man's covered call.
Yeah, but you have to first buy a deep in the money call, a leap option, in order to sell a call against it. That's what,
I mean, I think if you're going out a couple years, it's a strategy. It's still a risky strategy, just like buying and holding the stock. I mean, you don't. I'm talking about AMC right now. You don't know what the company's going to do with future dilution, so that's worrisome. But calls like GME, maybe there's less dilution risk for GameStop, but you need earnings. You need earnings from GameStop.
I don't necessarily like buying calls. I only did what I did. Was it this week, Tony, or last week? I don't even remember when I did it.
It was this week. You bought them. They didn't work out, and you immediately sold them.
Yeah. But the reason why I did it is because I didn't want to buy the shares. I didn't want to own the shares at that price because it was already at the top. I was willing to risk a few $100 to make some money. It didn't work out. I'm good. So I don't necessarily buy calls unless the stock is moving.
Chrismo says the only thing I care about how much I can make selling AMC puts during the week. Chrismo, how do you respond to people that say you are shilling and giving people bad information to lose them money? Because I saw that kind of regarded message going around on Twitter that talking about selling puts is, how much money have you lost in the past month, Chrismo? Just curious.
I'm going to say probably none without.
Right. I personally have lost none. I don't know what these people seem to have a short circuit between the ears. Like, Chrismo, how much money have you lost selling puts? And are you pushing it? Are you trying to make people lose money? Maybe you should start a Discord and charge people $100 a week for your special trades, and then cancel your Discord because you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, and the person who was going to actually teach them decided he didn't want to partner up with you. I don't know if I'm talking about a theoretical situation or some little yapper, but maybe Chrismo. Just saying. I'm going off the rails here, mediocre. Help me.
No,
out.
You're good. He posted.
There's a lot of dumbasses throwing stones, and I got so much shit on them that they don't even know. Just don't even get me started. You don't want to go there with me.
Money, Tony.
You don't want to go there with me. Just stay in your lane. Everybody over here is doing fine. When my Discord starts losing all their money, you'll hear about it from them. Other than that, we're doing just fine. We're all doing fine.
He's made over $1,500, Tony. There you go.
Chrismo. I love you, brother.
Congratulations, man.
Anywho.
All right, gents, let's get some food. We got to get up at 4 or 5 a.m.
You guys got to get up at 4 or 5 a.m.
I don't got to. I just like my body automatically wakes up. I can't help it.
That's how I am at like 8 o'clock. It doesn't matter what time I go to bed. It's like, bam, 8 o'clock.
Last minute shout out. I got Cinemark earnings live here on the channel tomorrow, pre-market, and AMC earnings live after hours. So I hope to see y'all on one or both. Corex, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Mediocre, thank you. We're going to do the 1 minute outro, and I'm not going to hang around in the back room because.
Good night, everybody.
As everybody knows, what do I got to do? Got to feed the dogs. Have a good night.
Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, the like button.
Subscribe, like, and share. Good night.
Good night.
Let's go. Yeah. I'm like an addict, do I gotta have it. I ain't even playing, got a really bad habit. If it moves, gotta grab it. Fuse like a magnet, lose, won't have it till I'm doomed in a casket. I ain't playing, got a weird mind. If you work 8 hours, I'ma work 9. If the shit tastes sour, you should taste mine. I'ma stay in power for a long time. Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer. Rising the song to the highest bidder. Got juice, got gas, I'ma move fast. New shoes, new tracks, like who's that? I'm new, come back, better than last. Yeah, it's a new me, never gonna look back. Never gonna look back.